Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. So, trying to get to that 5,000 sub level, at which time I could start doing live streams, ultimately, and all that good stuff. So, for the time being, I'm just pushing out like these shorter little video clips that you see here. So, anyway, I've talk about this all the time. I used to be a big Joe Rogan guy. I used to love him. And in fact, I started this channel doing reviews of every one of his podcasts. And if you go back on my channel, I've listened to every one of Joe Rogan's podcasts for about 10 years, I'd say, right? 8 to 10 years. And I'd listen to the whole thing, every minute of every podcast. And I would talk, I would discuss, and I can't stand Rogan now. He changed. He went full-blown MAGA. I stopped listening to Rogan right after COVID, right after, like, even after the horse dewormer stuff. And by the way, I've always said that I thought he was treated unfairly about that. I thought they went after him. He did a video, he got COVID, and he said he was taking ivermectin or something, everything in the kitchen sink or something, and everyone went after him hard. And I think that's what turned Rogan. Part of the reasons full-blown MAGA was his COVID. He never got vaccinated. He wanted to. If you know the whole story, I know the guy. I've been listening. I listened to him for 10 years. I know the whole story. That was part of it. But anyway, there were little hints along the way. Like, I know he had some right-wing stuff, and it was fine. Second Amendment, which I am too. And there's some other right-wing kind of I can't really think of it off the top of my head, but which is perfectly fine. I mean, I'm complicated too. I'm not across the board left or whatever. I'm, center left, but more lefty for sure. But anyway. Rogan's not the king of the hill anymore, and his numbers, the ratings, whatever, and it's hard to calculate how this is because there's so many streaming platforms and YouTube and all that. But he keeps going down, and he knows it. And the whole Austin comedy scene, people are starting to really speak out. I mean, Rogan's a fucking. It's so upsetting because I used to really like him. And one of the things I liked the most was he had a heart. He seemed like a really nice guy. He really did. And he's on his show. Oh my God, he used to have these great guests. Oh my God, scientists, legitimate scientists, not quacks, not RFK Jr. quack jobs, right? And writers, great writers, film directors. It truly used to be educational. And Rogan, although he was never considered smart, he just was an average guy. The Joe, his name was like perfect for the show because he's an average Joe just asking questions with an open mind. And that's what the show was. And then he became full-blown MAGA, right? And I think another thing is Dana White. Dana White, that piece of shit Dana White. I've done videos on Dana White. I cannot stand that guy. But, and I'm a UFC guy. That's another reason I got into Rogan, because of mixed martial arts. But I digress. But the Rogan stuff, the anti-Rogan stuff, his numbers going down. He's still got a lot of influence, don't get me wrong. He's still got power, but it's not what it used to be. And in the comedy scene, particularly Marc Maron. Marc Maron is coming out strong. And Rogan didn't used to be like a petty guy, like gossipy, but now he is. Now he's going after Rogan because his numbers are going down, So let me do this. I'm going to play a clip from Kyle Kulinski. I'm not going to bother downloading it. Dakota, come here. Did I ever show you my other dog? I always have Tindra. The newest one, she's always by me because she's a baby. But this is my first dog, Dakota. Come on, baby. We have 2 huskies. And here he is. He used to be in my videos all the time. And then the baby, Tindra, she wants all the attention. She screams if I don't give her love, And this is my first guy, Dakota. Hi, baby. Isn't he handsome? Oh, my goodness. All right. Come on, get down, Dakota. Hey, the sun's coming out. All right, so let me play this, and I'll talk. Now, Rogan goes after hard goes hard on Marc Maron. Now, some of his criticism is accurate. I tell you what, I don't listen to Marc Maron. And by the way, his podcast is gone because Marc Maron's number is like, Marc Maron back in the day, like 2013, had the #1 podcast. He had like Barack Obama on. Actually, his last podcast, he had Barack Obama. But all the big time actors, I mean, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, like everyone who was anyone was on his podcast. And it was giant. And I tuned in and I felt the same way. What Rogan says, his interviewing style is good. The interviews are fine. But the self-indulgent rants at the beginning and I'm like, yep, you are right about that. And that's what turned me off from Maron. I love Marc Maron. Marc Maron's a very smart guy, all right? He's on the right side, his politics. I agree with his politics 100%. He's a lefty. He used to be on America Air, Live America 1. But he is narcissistic or like he's so, I don't know if that's the right word. I guess it is. But he's so into himself. Like, he'll talk for like a half hour about his problems. And I know that's a shtick a little bit, but it's kind of like, dude, get over yourself. All right? I don't want to hear about like, oh, I felt depressed and all this. And like the self-importance is eternal. And Rogan pointed that out. And that's the one thing in this thing I'm going to show you where Rogan's right. But let me play a little bit of this. I'm not going to bother downloading this. Kind of a pain in the ass. I hope it's not too annoying. But here's Kyle.
Comedy civil war has erupted. You have basically Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz, and they're the two who are in the Rogan sphere who are now leading the charge against the Rogan sphere critical comedians. But yeah, there are some clear dividing lines here. Of course, you have Marc Maron on the other side of them. You have, you could argue, Andrew Santino, Bobby Lee, Stavros. So there's some clear dividing lines here, and this is the first time that it appears like both Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz sort of snapped and decided to call out some of their detractors. So we talked a little bit about Rogan versus Maron the other day on Friday, but I wanted to dive a little deeper here. So shout out to Too Lazy to Try, who has a great YouTube channel. Definitely go subscribe to Too Lazy to Try. They broke down the Rogan versus Maron thing, and we're going to go ahead and break it down. Here we go.
Addicted to these arguments that people have constantly, every day, calling people assholes and losers, and you're just carrying around all that bullshit with you all day. It's exhausting. Which is why I don't do it. I mean, I could go in on every person that ever wronged me or this, that, said bad things about me, like, and it's just like super unhealthy.
Well, we know people our age who are...
Then why are you doing it now, bro?
Marc Maron, don't say it.
So as he does his little, I would never, bro. I'm above the fray. I don't engage in this petty drama bullshit, sniping back and forth. He's now going to proceed to do exactly that. And he didn't just do it in this podcast. He did it in another one. He had on Andrew Schulz after Callen. And
let me pause this. Yeah, so he proceeds to talk about Marc Maron for 15, 20 minutes. That's Brian Callen, and there is another fucking idiot. Brian Callen. It's a commercial there here. So, yeah, so then Rogan proceeds to talk about Marc Maron. And the thing is, he's going after him personally, like attacking his character and saying that Marc Maron's mentally ill. Let me continue. Listen.
It's just not charitable. It's also, he's pathologically jealous. Like, he's been he's like literally mentally ill. The thing is, Maron's podcast, which was #1, isn't even in the top 100 anymore.
Oh my God. So understand something. Maron's criticisms were substantive. They were political in nature.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, you're riding Trump's dick and ushering in fascism. And also, you're making comedy worse because all you're doing is trying to out-offensive each other.
Exactly.
Right?
Let me pause this. That's exactly right. Marc Maron wasn't going after Rogan personally. He was basically politics. And Rogan, in turn, goes after Marc Maron, saying that he's mentally ill. You've heard him, pathologically jealous. Let me continue on for a bit.
Negative effects on comedy and making comedy like this right-wing hack space. And also, you're ushering in fascism. That's what Maron's criticisms were. It had nothing to do with any interpersonal bullshit. Nothing to do with that. But notice, Rogan's response is to go personal. Rogan's response, oh, he's jealous, oh, he's insecure, oh, he's mentally ill. So everything he's saying is about the personality, the person
That's right.
of Marc Maron. Everything Maron is saying is about the impact Rogan is having on the body politic and comedy. So Maron's criticisms are substantive. Rogan's criticisms are personal.
That's right.
I mean, it's such bullshit, not addressing any of the actual criticisms.
I don't even think it's in the top 200. It went away. And it went away not because
It's being
he did
canceled,
anything.
bro.
He didn't get arrested. There was no scandal. People just stopped being interested in it. And I think that hurts the most.
Well, then, if that hurts the most, you should already be starting to hurt Rogan.
Yeah, exactly.
He's fallen from grace. He's no longer the top podcast in the world.
told you.
He's washed.
And why did they stop being interested? It's not good.
All right, so it looks like Joe Rogan finally proved that he's not above shit talking, even though, of course, he still somehow tries to act like he's above it. You know, he goes from saying he doesn't hate on people who have said bad things about him to spending 20 minutes going off on Marc Maron. So he finally just snapped, and of course he's way more tuned in to what people are saying about him than he wants you to believe, and he's definitely not above drama. You know, because usually Rogan tries to avoid feeding into any beefs with other comics or saying anything bad about them.
Not anymore.
Publicly, at least. Like Maron, he's been trashing Joe for around a decade, and Rogan would rarely acknowledge it on his show.
That is
but it
true.
looks like Maron's last special where
Let me
he
pause
joked
this for a
about Theo
second.
Vaughn.
That's kind of a good strategy too when you're on top. Just don't pay attention to any of your detractors. You know, I digress a little bit here, but Howard Stern, Howard Stern was giant. A giant when you have no idea, younger people. He was just fucking as big as you can imagine. And there used to be like Opie and Anthony. They were kind of like, had a similar style. And they were kind of getting big, and they would talk about Howard Stern all the time. Howard would not go there. Never discuss it. It's a good strategy. Just ignore them. You're little, get the fuck away from me, you know. And kind of Rogan, I guess, was trying to do that. But now that Rogan's numbers are starting to plummet, he's starting to get starting to get into this petty bullshit back and forth a little bit more. And you know what's funny too? Let me just say this. The Rogan being a comedian is an absolute joke. Like literally, I mean, it's like he is not funny at all. That's not why I listen to his podcast. Like I said, I listened to it because I liked his guests, I liked his style. The average Joe asking questions of very intelligent people. It was very informative, educational, and entertaining. The whole thing. But Rogan, I never thought he was a good stand-up. I thought he sucked. He's terrible, and it's kind of cringy. It's all cringy, and like I was like, this guy's the worst, and he's getting worse. Like his special got panned. He is not a funny guy. He should just quit that comedy shit. He is awful. In fact, all those right-wing comedians are not funny. They're gross and cringe. Let me continue on for a little bit, and then you know what? I'll make this a part two. So let me start.
And the media tour he did, where he was trashing the Rogan sphere every chance he had, really got to Joe, and now the gloves are off. I mean, he must have been holding this in for years, and he finally just ran out of patience because he was ready to go. Like, he was prepared. He mentioned a Reddit post that was criticizing Marc's podcast, and he knew this weird stat about his comedy shows, and he's aware of everything Marc said about him. So Rogan acts like he's above all the haters and doesn't care what people think about him. You know, it's all just noise. But it turns out he's human, and he's actually pretty invested in what Marc, and I'm sure a lot of other people are saying about him and his crew.
Exactly.
But even before this, that was
because his numbers are down. So all right, let me end it here. I'll do some more on Rogan. And good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. I always end my little videos there. That's Mark Twain. And when asked, what is happiness? All right. And if you made it this far, thank you very much. Make sure you like and subscribe and spread it around. It helps with the algorithm. And as I said, live streams coming. Peace.